Hello guys and welcome to, usually I would say like HRL, season 11, season 10, something like that. But I'm actually going to be saying HRL Go-Kart season 4 here. Sounds a little bit different. Um, so this video is intended to sort of announce most of the stuff for the Go-Kart series, which we are starting up here soon. I want to basically do like an info dump in this video and try to get as much of those details out there so that you guys are prepared, because we're going to be starting this very soon. Just to kind of like give context first, go-kart is something that I've wanted to do in Halo 5 for a long time. Probably, I mean, the first track that Matt and I worked on was Eagle River, so pretty much since the beginning this game came out, we've been wanting to do it, and now here we are, getting pretty close to summer 2019, and we're finally getting around to it, which is kind of weird to think about, but I don't know. Better late than never. I think that definitely applies here, and I am glad that we are finally getting to it, even though it's been a long time coming. It's nice that it's going to be happening here soon. I'm really excited about it. So I guess to give even more context, so the sort of like the reason of starting it now in the middle of this season, few reasons behind that. So one, I've just been wanting to start it for a while, and I kind of always said, like, sometimes someone would come. It was usually like Roman would come in my chat and ask, like, okay, when are you gonna be starting this up? And I'd always just say, like, okay, whenever it's ready. Like that would pretty much be my cheater answer. I'd always say that, but it was kind of true. And now we're about as close to ready as we can possibly be. In terms of the tracks, we pretty much have all the tracks ready except for one. We're still deciding between. It's probably gonna be Danny, but we have two potential tracks here for the last spot, and it's probably going to be that one. But I still got to finish up the walls on that. Finish up the walls, put the Joker on it, and then we'll be completely done with the tracks on the schedule. Another thing, too, these JVs, I wanted to put Joker, JV for Joker version on all the tracks that have a Joker. So Jon Snow, Ontario, and whichever one of these tracks gets picked are the only tracks that don't have a Joker on them yet. So yeah, just trying to keep track of that as well. So by the time we start Go-Kart, this Friday, we will be 100% ready with the schedule. I got all the docs up and stuff like that. So that's going to be like the literal fulfillment of whenever it's ready. Pretty much like the day of. It's like, all right, we're ready. Let's go. Is pretty much how it's going. So yeah, I've been hyping this up for a while. I've been saying pretty much ever since I came back in February that go-kart, I wanted to do it like at some point. I just wanted it to happen. It was really no secret. And now here it is. And I'm going to be going through a lot of the rules and stuff like that. Now, to be fair, I'm going to kind of cheat on a lot of that. Like, a lot of it is similar to HRL, but, most of the specific rules, I'm going to be going through those. And one thing that I try to do, I think some of you guys will like this, with this go-kart season, was listen to some of the things that people are missing out on in the normal main series format right now. Because we got kind of like a breath of fresh air, I think, before the season started with those 2 preseason tournaments. Which were just different, like those two preseason tournaments were just like breaths of fresh air, and something completely new, I guess, for people to race. And that's, I guess, like that drove a lot of the hype into the season, because those tournaments were fun. But then we got into the season, and the season wasn't really like the tournaments. It was back to more of the same, which I think is why it was kind of like jarring. For some people, like going back into the season, we had all this hype with the preseason tournaments, and then when the actual season wasn't like that was like kind of off-putting. So in this go-kart series, I want to try to bring some of that stuff back and give each night of go-kart, give them all that feel of kind of like that preseason tournament, where it's going to be like a fun one-off thing. If it's enjoyed that much, maybe we will return for a go-kart season 5 here at some point. By the way, you may be wondering, why is it Go-Kart Season 4? Just quick explanation. We did 1 season of Go-Kart in Reach and 2 in Halo 4, so this would naturally be the 4th season of Go-Kart in the overall HRL history. I'd have to go back and see who the champions were, because I think we'll probably have a new champion for this season, but I have to go back and see who they were. I believe off the top of my head, Seraph won Season 1. I think I won Season 2, and Bowie Boy won Season 3. Some names you guys probably don't recognize at this point. Some of you do, some of you probably won't. So I'll have to go double check and see if those are correct. But that's just off the top of my head, I think that's who won the seasons. But yeah, so going through like enough context. Let me take a drink and let's get let's get into the actual details. All right, so looking at the schedule here, we pretty much, like I said, have the complete schedule. Let's just go through it. So first race kicking off the season is going to be Brisbane. Brisbane's a good mix of like being a somewhat difficult track, but also being a fun track. Brisbane is very much so a battle track. And if you guys haven't seen this track yet, which again, like going with the grind here, I'm going to try to release a go-kart trailer if I possibly can tomorrow on Thursday. So if I do end up doing that, have the time to do that, look out for that because that'll hopefully drive some hype into the season. But yeah, Brisbane is a great battle track, and I think a perfect track to kick the season off with because we'll probably see some insane battles, some good packs, some good crashes. It's a unique go-kart track. It has 2 sets of oval turns. It has back-to-back jumps. Yeah, it's got a neg camber. It's a very different type of go-kart track, but a very fun one. And I think that you guys will enjoy kicking off the season with this. And then we have many throwback tracks in this schedule as well. As you can see, we have a lot of new, but we also have a lot of throwback. And that starts off right away here in the first night with Alpine Run. This is the same Alpine Run that we saw in the Blast from the Past tournament. I'm going to be making a few adjustments to it aside from the Joker, just to clean some things up because there are definitely some rough edges from it being such an old track and some things that could definitely use some fixing up so that it doesn't conk too hard. So I'll fix those up. And then we'll be ready for Brisbane and Alpine Run 2. We have a throwback track and a completely new battle track. But we've also had some good battles on Alpine Run in the past. So I'm sure that these will be 2 good tracks to kick the season off with. And you don't misread that there. It is going to be 19 laps per moto. Oh boy, now we're getting into it. We're getting into the format here. 19 laps for each of these tracks. The times were so similar that it just worked out. And let's just back it up to the format then, I guess. So for the format, the way we're going to be doing it on the first night, for starting order, no heats by the way, and we're going to be doing like very minimal, pretty much no practice. So it's going to be similar to the preseason tournaments in that sense, I suppose. Not too much practice. We're kind of just like when we're on, we're getting right to it. Especially because if you look at the times, 4:45 Eastern, that's when we plan on doing this. This should be pretty well. It should be a great time for UK people because it's before the normal race time. I would imagine that would be a better time. I hope. And it should work for most people that can make it to the normal races too because it's not too much earlier. Of course, not everybody's going to be able to make all these races, and that's unfortunate. But when I was going through trying to figure out like what time would be best to hold these go-kart races, I really didn't want to do it on Friday. But after thinking about it for a bit, it kind of makes sense, and it probably was the best time. So that's what I decided upon. So going through the schedule here again, we're just jumping around here. Right before I get into the full format, the way I scheduled this out, as you can see, I have the season 11 doc up here. The way I ordered this up is I wanted it to be so that this first night is a doubleheader just to kick things off. It was kind of unfortunate because it was planned well, like it was going to be a doubleheader on a single HRL race night. So kind of the plan was like, okay, let's do the go-kart doubleheaders on the nights where it's 1 HRL race, and then let's do the go-kart single headers on the nights where it's 2 HRL races. And that was sort of my idea. And then that got conked because Chile got conked, so oh well. And that's going to be kind of funny because we're going to be racing 3 go-kart races on Friday. That's going to be a fun day. It's going to be a freaking go-kart tournament, basically. So that'll be fun. But yeah, so we're kicking things off with a doubleheader still. Just going to be a hype day, I guess. Hype, long day of intense racing, so prepare for that. And then we have 2 single HRL races after that with Dusty Ridge and Portland, so we're gonna have 2 double headers after that. I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to make this one, so this one might get moved. This one might get moved or turned into a single race, so we will find out about that. I'm not sure quite yet. So if there's gonna be a change in the schedule, it is probably gonna be right here. So I'm just telling you guys about that now. I'm just gonna leave it for now, and then if I have to conk it, I'll conk it later. And then we have our first single night because we have a doubleheader there on the 21st. HRL night, it's Latvia and Arcadia. That is a nice doubleheader. So it's going to be a single race of Targaryen for the go-kart series. Then we go to the 28th of June. We're going to be going back to single race for HRL Penitentiary, which means we're going to have doubleheader for go-kart, Mount Haven, and Yeti. A very easy old track versus a very difficult new track. That'll be an interesting setup there. And then on the 5th, we have a doubleheader for HRL, Clarion and Darude, which is going to put us in that single header of frickin' Eagle River coming back. Had to hype it up a little bit. Eagle River coming back in July, so I'm actually right after 4th of July too. I'm really excited about that. It's been a long time since we've raced Eagle River, and a long time coming. I actually can't wait to race it again. So yeah, Eagle River coming back on the 5th. Really excited about that, and then ending off the season with another doubleheader here on a single HRL night in Mirabilis, ending off the HRL season there. We're also going to be ending off the go-kart season. Hey, that works out really nicely. That was kind of the plan, by the way, with Kings Canyon and most likely Danny, and that's how we're going to end off the go-kart season. So that was kind of when I was going through the reasons of like why starting it now. That was another one, because when I looked at the schedule and the way I could order it, I was like, ooh, this is nice. I can order it so that the regular seasons of both end on the same night, and then you get that extra fat I didn't even realize that freaking comment. Then you get that extra fat grand finals night there the week after, and then it's off season. So that just works out really nicely. I think that we're going to be running these two series alongside each other, and that they end at the same time for the regular season. Like, I just think that works out nice, and that hopefully we'll get that grand finals week done with after, and then hopefully that's like a perfect time to take a little break and prevent the fatigue. So I just liked how that worked out, and how that order ended up being. I don't know. I thought it was neat. I guess it's kind of cool. So yeah, that's kind of why I decided to order the schedule like that. Get another drink quick. All right. More important stuff, guys. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm gonna try to rail the rest of this out. So, more important stuff. Format. Let's go through the format step by step. So, 4:45 Eastern, we're starting then. Like I said, just like the preseason tournaments, I think I'm going to have Real Deal run these lobbies as well if possible. So, going to be carrying over with the race official duties here. And yeah, we're just going to try to run these as efficiently as possible. Efficiently? What? Efficiently? I didn't get much sleep. So at 4:45 Eastern, we're starting. We're probably not going to hold much practice for it, maybe like a 5-minute practice or something like that. Basically getting on at that time, and we're getting it going. In terms of how we're going to start it up, as you can see on the schedule, all you see is moto wins and the overall, and that is how the format's going to be. No heats or anything like that. So like in the blast from the past, we just had like the one moto per track. For the elim tourney, we just like had the double heats per track. I guess you could think of this more like the elim tourney. Just make the heats longer, I suppose, for the beginning of the elim tourney at least. But yeah, so the way we're going to be ordering the drivers for the starts, because I'm sure that's the question that's immediately popping in your guys' head, like, oh, okay, so we just have 2 motos, that's fine. How are we going to be doing the starting order? For the first night, we're going to do the first moto, or for the first race, we're going to be doing the first moto starting order inverse of the current HRL main series season standings. That is how we're going to do it for the first race, just to have an order going. So that's how the first moto will be ordered. Moto 2 classic format will be inverse of the first moto results. So that's the same. For that second race of the night, we will have the first race done, so we will have go-kart points to work with. So for Moto 1 of the second race and the races afterwards, we will go off those go-kart points for the Moto 1 order. But for the first race, we are going to go with those HRL standings just because we need something to work with. And then, like I said, Moto 2 is just classic inverse of the Moto 1 finish. So that is how that's going to go. And hopefully that'll bring back some of that Moto 2 intensity and cheese and chaos that people might have been craving. And I think it'll be pretty fun. And of course, because of 2 motos, we're also bringing back the battle for the overall. So there's still going to be that overall battle for all of these races. So it's not like a two. It's not like, if it's a doubleheader, the best finisher of Brisbane and Alpine Run gets the overall. It's for each individual race. So Brisbane has its own overall, Alpine has its own overall. That's how it's going to go. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you're worrying about, I'm sure some of you are probably worrying about the times. Okay, so in terms of like pure time, the races are supposed to be 12.5 minutes long, so 12 and a half minutes. Of course, we're doing lap count, and Brisbane and Alpine Run, again, they just worked out to be 19 laps each. That's just weird that the schedule starts like that, but not all these tracks are going to be the same amount of laps. And the reason I went with that moto time is because that's sort of what the original moto time was supposed to be. I suppose it was like 12.5 minutes. Of course, when we had the 10 minutes plus 2 laps, that was different per track. Because, for example, if you had the plus 2 laps on Barvo, that'd be an extra like 27, 28 seconds of racing. You have the extra 2 laps on Goaty, and that's an extra 5 minutes of racing. So that could kind of switch things up a little bit, depending on the track. Don't want to do that here. I was like, you know what? I always wanted the motos originally to be around 12.5 minutes long. It just didn't always work out that way because the way timed races worked. So because we could do laps, I'm just doing that strictly. These motos are supposed to be about 12.5 minutes long. And both motos are the same length. So that's why you just see the 1 lap count. Both motos are the same length. Okay, so through that cheese. Well, now that we got through all that, the only other thing I can think of that's really important for the format is the Joker. And quickly before I go through these Joker rules, all like the basic racing rules for go-kart is pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same as normal HRL, so you can pretty much refer to those rules for all that stuff. Because yeah, it's basically the same. But there is one thing that's quite unique, and we've been staring at the schedule here for a sec, by the way, guys. So I'll show off. Here's the point standings doc real quick. So I got that. I'll post all these into the Discord when we're ready. Four Moto Mulligans total for the season. That's how that's gonna work. Oh, well, that was important. So there's that, in case you're wondering about that. See, try not to forget things. We will do. Oh, this is actually a good point too. We will do a grand finals for this. Ooh, that's not right. We will do a grand finals for this. And the way the grand finals is gonna work for the go-kart, see, have those purple ones. We're gonna do it just like season 9, and yeah, the grand finals will be over the course of 2 weeks. Get conked. But yeah, we're going to be doing it just like Season 9, where the regular season and the Grand Finals are kind of combined, and the Grand Finals is like kind of its own thing, but it's also counted into the regular season points. So that's how that's going to work. Just to make things simple for go-kart, I don't think things needed to be too overcomplicated for this series of Grand Finals. So that's how that is. That was pretty important. I'm glad I got that out of the way. And then, now that we're getting all back to it, one more time, really important, 4 motos worth of mulligans. 4 motos worth of mulligans. That is what we're doing here. For this regular season, Grand Finals mulligans are not going to factor in. And now we get to the Jokers. So briefly in the beginning, I mentioned like the JV Joker version for all this stuff. So we're going to have Jokers. That's what I decided upon. I was thinking about doing like pits for a while, and then I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, pits probably suck. So we're going to be doing Jokers for these go-kart races, and we decided upon, you know, in normal HRL Rallycross, it's mostly shortcut Jokers, but some of the Jokers can be longer. There could be some variety there. For these Jokers in the go-kart races, they're all shortcut Jokers. They're all roughly around the same amount of time. They all cut off your lap time roughly 3.5 to 4 seconds off your lap time. And that's just, I don't know, we thought that would work well to try to like standardize it for the series. So that's what we're trying to do, and that's how it's going to go. So the amount of Jokers that you get per race, it's going to be 2. 2 Jokers per race, and with those normal HRL rules, like there's always the question of can you use it on the first lap or the last lap. I think we're just going to say screw it for go-kart, just to make things simple. So 2 Jokers per race, and you can use them when you want. If you don't use them, that sucks. If you use more than 2 Jokers, penalty for that. So that's how that's going to go. Okay, and yeah, you get your 2 Jokers per moto as well. So 2 Jokers each moto. Okay, so now that we went through that, I'll show you guys the race results doc too. Now that we went through that, I honestly think that that's pretty much it. Again, if you guys have any like specific questions, but when it comes to the format and all the important stuff, again, like that's pretty much it. Everything else is like the same rules as normal HRL, and yeah, I hope you guys can make it to the go-kart season. Again, watch out for that. If I can get it done, watch out for that trailer potentially dropping tomorrow, and of course we're going to be kicking off early on Friday. So don't miss it, because I think that this will be a breath of fresh air in the middle of the season here, and I think it should be a lot of fun. And I've seen that a lot of people are looking into it, interested in it, and potentially looking forward to it. So I hope that it pays off for you guys. And again, in terms of like having the schedule all ordered up and done, I should have that ready to go by Friday. Like I was saying before, it's ready when it's ready. Well, that's literally going to happen. It's pretty much going to be ready at the last minute there, but it will all be ready. But as far as the first night goes, we are pretty much ready to go here with Brisbane and Alpine, so not too much work to do there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. All I have to really say at the end is thanks for watching. Hope you guys are interested in this series. Hope you guys show up to it. And again, any questions, concerns, bring those up, because I'll probably forget stuff, and it's better for everybody. So bring that shit up. Post in the comments which of these tracks you're most excited for to see the race. And later.